everybody. We're back again for another review of a Comic-Con. So, I've been reviewing all the Comic-Cons that I've been doing this year for Artist Alley. And this one is for Forest City ComiCon, which takes place in London, Ontario. I've done this con once before, and it's actually a two-level con. Last year I was in the lower level. I don't have records, but I don't believe I did very well that time, like last year. So I thought, okay, let's switch it up. Let's go upstairs and see if that makes a difference. So that's what I did. So what I'm really doing with these videos is I'm just trying to see if these are profitable. Like, is it worth the time to do them? So hopefully this helps other people, and we'll get into that more later. So we went to Forest City, which is in London. It's not too far. It's about 2 hours away from where I live in Windsor. I'm saying a lot, aren't I, today? So we're gonna try and get these words out. It's still pretty early in the morning here for me. Okay, so we're gonna go through what I sold. So once again, as with almost every single con this year, I have sold no original art sketch covers. And as I've said previously, I really wish like they would sell like at a con, because the price is a higher point value and it would really offset costs. But we sold none. Also, this con, we sold no sketch cards. None this time. So that kind of hurt a bit too. I was just like, okay, so nobody at this con wants to own an original piece of artwork. So that is something to keep in mind for the future, especially if I do this con again, that this kind of thing is not needed to bring. Like, I don't really need to, because that's not what they want to buy. So we'll go into prints, art books, and let me just see. Yeah, I sold a couple art books actually this time. I sold 2 of my book number 5. I only had 3 left. The last one was more a display copy, and it was getting a little battered. It's not in mint condition, so I ended up giving that away at the end of the day. So really now I am completely sold out of book 5. So that leaves me only with my book 2. I have some left, and my book 6. Now book 6, I sold 3 of them, so that's also pretty good. So with that, I sell them for about $20 a piece, but depending if they're like purchased with the square takes a fee. So I essentially say that I sell them, or my profit is like, when I sell them, is like $17.70. So that brings us to total to $88.55. But of course, it costs money to print the books. And it also costs money for the bag and board, so I have to subtract that cost. That cost for those 5 books was $47.45. So really, the total profit from selling them is $41.11. So we will move on. So the prints, because that's basically all that I had left to sell. That we did. We sold 11 by 17 prints. I sold 3 Harley Quinn, 1 of the Batgirl Supergirl ones, 2 of my Omni-Man versus Homelander, 1 of my 007 Batman print, 1 of Red Sonja, 1 of my Legion of Disney Princesses, 3 of the Jokers. That's the lineup one. 3 of my Predator Venomized, 1 of Catwoman, 1 of Web of Spidey, 1 of Storm, and that officially makes that print sold out. So I'm not going to be reprinting that one. That one's gone. So Goodbye Storm, she took a while to sell, and it's not a big seller, sadly. We sold 8 of Colossus, which is my new print that I did. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. 1 of the Hulk, 6 of Batman Who Laughs, 4 of Boba Fett, 1 of Daredevil, 1 of Stan Lee, 1 of Steve Ditko, 1 of Data, 1 of Jack Kirby, 2 Carnages, and 1 Deadpool. So, yeah, that wasn't bad. I mean, we sold like 45 prints. I generally sell them at about $10 a piece, but there's also the deals that you give, like, you know, like 3 for like $25 or 5 for $35. So, when all that's said and done, basically, I made like $374.85 off the prints. But again, we have to take off the costs. So the printing costs and the plastic sleeve that it goes in. So for 45 of those, that is like $135.45. So the profit that I got off the prints from selling them was $239.40. So before I get into the costs, like the other costs that we have to subtract from our profit, I want to talk a little bit about, give me a sec. Okay, so Forest City had Stefan Capisi there. He was originally supposed to be there in 2020, but of course we had the pandemic. So he came this year to honor that commitment, which is great. So he is the voice of Colossus in the Deadpool films. He is a fantastic guy. I met him once before years ago at Windsor ComiCon, and he was pretty much across from me a little bit where I was situated. So I took a blank X-Men cover and I did a really quick, like I would say 20-minute ink drawing of him, like as Colossus. Well, and I gave it to him, which was great, you know, and he took it and we took pictures together. That was awesome. So this year, he was in London at the Forest City Con, and it was great because he remembered me from back then. And like that must have been like maybe 2017, 2018, around maybe even 2019. I can't remember, but you know, he remembered me. It was great. I showed him my my new Colossus sketch cover, and I was like, "Hey, look, I've gotten better," you know. And it was great, you know, because he signed it for me, which, you know, is going to increase the value of it. And also, you know, the great thing too was like I gave him a Jack Kirby print because I remember that he really loves Jack Kirby's art, and I remember him hunting around and buying like Jack Kirby books. Like when I met him the first time, he had bought Demon #1, which was drawn by Jack Kirby from me. So that was good. I also, of course, almost forgot, but I did give him a print of the Colossus that I had as well. So great guy, fantastic. I can't say anything really beyond like that. Oh, I'm getting tongue-tied, but yeah, he's just one of those celebrities that are just fantastic with people. You know, like I even seen him at Forest City walking around and buying stuff. Like he supports back, and you know, he does have a love for the industry, comic books and all that. So, all right. So where were we? Okay, so we're gonna talk about our sales. So I believe our total sales should be at like $280.51. So we have to start subtracting some costs. So the table was $169.50 for the day. So we have to take that off. I did my social media posts as usual, you know, like 1 week before the con, I'm selling sketch covers, I'm selling sketch cards, I'm selling art books, I'm selling prints one day before the con. So I have to pay myself for making those social media posts and actually taking the time to post them. So we're going to subtract another $23.25. Gas, like fuel to get there and back to the con, was about $55.20. Food, I spent about $20, on snacks and such for the trip there, back, and while I was at the con, lunch, etc. Well, yeah, that was another good thing about Forest City ComiCon is that they have this kind of festival in the park where there are tons and tons of food trucks, so like there is no shortage of food choices. That being said, I had to pay $5 for parking, which is okay. That's not bad for the day. And then, of course, we have to get into the costs of my display that I have to keep subtracting. So as I've been doing this, I'm subtracting a portion of the cost of paying for those materials to use for my booth, dividing it between all the cons that I'm doing this year. So I have a revolving pegboard shelf that I put my sketch cards on. So I need to subtract $20.80 for that. And then my portable display behind me for this con, I have to subtract like $46.80. And lastly, business cards for the year, business cards. For this con, like their portion is like $4.88. So that's going to bring the total expenses and cost of everything to $345.43. Which brings us to a grand total of a loss again of $64.92. So yeah, it hurts, because like the majority of all the cons that I've been doing this year in Artist Alley have been costing money, and I really don't know what to say. Like, I mean, with my analysis, like probably I have 2, maybe 3 cons left of the year, and I'm probably going to be packing it in because honestly, it's not worth the time and money. I mean, I love going to cons, but this isn't economically feasible. It's not gonna work. So I don't really know what's going on. If it's like, is there like a superhero fatigue, which I don't really know. I don't think so. I think fans are gonna always still love things, like love their work of like superheroes or whatever, or manga or anime, or any other kind of pop culture kind of things, horror, etc. Or is it really boiling down to all the inflation in like all over the world? Like, do people just not have the extra money to spend? And is that why everything's been hurting so badly? I just don't know the answer. But I mean, if it is that, I mean, I think it might be safe to say that maybe after this year, I pack it in and we wait a couple years, and when things eventually get better, then we try it again. But I probably will never like do as many cons as I have this year ever again. I think it would be very sporadic to see and test the waters. But yeah. So my next con that I'm approved for is actually London Comic Con. So it's the same city. It's just a larger one. It's a 2-day show. But that's not until September. So that's going to be quite a while. I did apply for Fan Expo, which is in Toronto. I applied back in like February, and I haven't heard a word back. Though I did see on a Facebook group yesterday that someone said that they finally heard back from them, and that they were approved to get in. Personally, I'm really, really hoping I don't get in, because I'm hoping that I don't get selected, and it may be due to timing or whatever. But the thing is, like, I honestly and wholeheartedly feel like a 4-day con like that, the costs are going to be astronomical, and there is no way I will make my money back. it will be a huge loss. I'm just assuming, just from the track record of everything else this year. So I'm actually hoping not to get in. I'm sure that even if I did, I might have the right to refuse and say, no thanks. And it's a shame because I really, really wanted to do Fan Expo, but I just don't think it's the right time. I don't think it's the, it's just kind of disheartening. But we're going to leave it at that. So I'll probably get back to you guys again with another one in September.